Welcome to my first boat. In this channel we will show you the step-by-step restoration of our 40-foot vintage steel yacht, with the goal to someday living on it full-time. I'll start this week's video by showing you how I replaced the rear window in the aft cabin. Removing this perfectly fine window was very painful, but it had to go. Because this one too did not open, we chose to replace it with a Lewmar hatch. As you can see, the hole of the previous window was larger than the hatch. Sadly, this was the closest one I could find in terms of dimensions, so I had to weld in some steel sheets to make it fit. For this, first I took some measurements. I use a measuring tape and a ruler just to take some rough measurements, but I only make very few marks in general, in this case only a single line on the right side of the frame to mark what I had to cut away. The rest of the build was done mostly by eyesight, by test fitting the pieces over and over, cutting away small parts here and there, until they fit close enough so that I can weld them in. I preferred to leave the original window frame mostly untouched and adjust the new metal plates to its shape, rather than cutting out the window to a square and putting in square metal plates. Here I remove the paint so that it doesn't catch on fire during the welding. And the same on the outside. A quick little test fitting to see if we are on the right track. I then commenced the painstaking process of precision fitting the pieces by putting them in place, cutting off whatever stood over, and repeating this over and over until it fit. Before starting the welding, I did a quick test fitting. Perfect! I then welded in the side pieces. Some more measurements to see if the hatch is level. Then I cut the piece to fill in the gap at the top. And then this one too was welded in place. For some reason this piece did not sit flush with the rest of the build, so I had to use a hammer and quite some force to bring it into the right shape. And this is where we stood at the end of this day. Here with the hatch in place. By the way, we need some advice from you, our fellow boaters out there. So we have the Seacock here, which was put there because there used to be a sink, but we're not gonna put back the sink, so it's pretty useless now. Plus it's all rotten and stuck, so it has to come out anyway. The question is, what is the best way to remove it? Should we leave some tube and just cut it here and then weld it shut? Or maybe just unscrew the valve and then screw a cap on that? Or shall we cut it right here at the bottom and make it flush with the rest of the hull? If you have any suggestions, please let us know in the comment section, so hopefully we can solve this soon. Thanks in advance. Alright, now moving on. On the next day I started by cutting some corner pieces for the frame. And so I spent the rest of that day welding and grinding, mostly grinding. The first test fitting with all the metal pieces welded in place revealed to my great relief that I was able to put this together quite precisely. Which meant that I didn't have to grind anything further around the frame itself. What was left now was to close the welds from the outside. And then finally a quick paint job with primer. So the other thing I worked on in this week is to put on the remaining of the profiles here on the floor. So these 4 and the 2 there all the way in the front. And yeah, sorry guys, not too much variety in this week, but you know how it is, it has to be done. So with this in place, I can now plan the floorboards. So the plan is to take several smaller boards, maybe 1 board for each 2 sections, something like that. And then several boards for the middle, 1 or 2 for here, so that the boards are easy to remove, different sections, and easy to service the bilge underneath. So that's going to be another challenge, to know how to make this floor, and of course the furniture and structure that comes on top, in a way that it is removable and it is serviceable while at the same time being stable. And last week I promised you to show you the result of the first coat of paint here in the aft cabin, so here it is. Now, to end this video, I want to take a moment and thank you all for watching and supporting this channel. And I don't just say this to make this video over 10 minutes so that I can benefit from a preferential treatment by the YouTube algorithm, but I really mean it. Thank you very, very much. Due to current events, we won't be able to work on the boat for the next 3 weeks. And while it's gonna be very difficult, I choose to not get frustrated by that. Instead, I will take the time to reflect on the past 3 months, let the past experiences settle a little, do some more planning and more learning, and just get our ideas straight on what we want to achieve with this project. And to you out there, I wish you all a pleasant and enjoyable end of this year and a great start into the new year. We're looking forward to making more great videos for you, and we're really happy that you join us on this journey. Once again, thank you very much. Take good care and see you soon.